I had a bone disease when I was a kid, and I had 4 operations starting from when I was 4. And at the end of that, I had a right leg that was 7 inches shorter than my left leg. So I wore a big shoe and pretty much lived a semi-normal life. And what happened, though, is about 6 years ago, the disease came back, this time in a much worse form called a sarcoma. And it got to the point where it was either the leg or me. So obviously I chose the leg. And letting go of the leg, after that I had to let go of other things, of course. Some of them were things that I was prepared for, like walking normally, carrying things, because you really can't carry anything when you're using crutches. Some of them were kind of surprises that came up as time went by that I wasn't really thinking about. Sort of little things like, I'll never climb a ladder again. You know, not that that's so important. I'll never walk through a revolving door, and I'll never use an umbrella. Some things I hadn't thought about, but they just sort of came up, and when they did, they were things that I didn't manage to let go of completely, even now. Like when I shut my car off, I still have to think for a second before, I open the door and I get ready to go out, and I have to remember to get my crutches. I gotta have those or else I'll just fall. So, gotta do that. When I finish cutting my toenails, I feel like I haven't. Because you just have that weird feeling. There are big things I let go of. One good big thing I let go of was caring about how other people perceive me. Because the big shoe, I was really self-conscious about the big shoe because people would laugh at me and reject me because of it, but now it's so far gone that, who cares, right? And now when I overhear things, I was in a supermarket about 2 years ago, and I heard this little boy say to his mom, "That man is missing a leg." And I love that. I thought it was funny. Before, I wouldn't have thought it was funny, but now I kind of got a kick out of that because I just liked the way the kid phrased it. It made me feel like I was, those Hocus Pocus cartoons where you spot the differences, and I'd be in the second panel, leg missing. Also, the word he used, missing, I thought was really cool because it made it sound like the leg might be out there someplace on its own, just sort of hopping around the country and meeting up with other legs and maybe hooking up with an arm. So, the bad things that I've had to give up on, one is this kind of an everyday sense of dignity when I'm out and about. And the way that kind of manifests itself is the way people rush to open doors for me. And I hate that. And I actually go in side entrances to avoid that. Or I just flat out lie to people and I say, "I'm not going in yet," and then I wait till they're gone and then I go right in. Downside of that is that I have to find every woman that I've opened a door for since 1975 and apologize. All I can say is it's how I was raised. Sorry about that. Another thing I've given up on is the idea of any physical contact with people, because not that I ever had a lot of luck with love and stuff, but when I'd have dinner or lunch with friends, female friends, I would hug them when I said goodbye, but now there's just this kind of logistical nightmare with the crutches and everything, because I'm going like this, and I'm always worried I'm going to lose my balance and take them down with me, so I just sort of avoid that, and that's been okay, but it just means that the only people who ever touch me now are medical professionals, and they're usually cutting me open or drawing blood. Bright spots, there have been a few bright spots. I get great parking. Also, when my family asks me to go to events like Thanksgiving, dinners, and destination weddings, I can just say no. And they're actually okay with that. But the biggest bright spot would have to be that it's kind of losing the leg. It wasn't a cure. It just sort of was a last-ditch effort. I still only have a 25% chance of living. And I get scanned every few months, and they tell me how the nodules in my lungs are and the cancer down there, and they say it's stable, and that's kind of the best news I can get. So what that does, though, is it's giving me a chance to sort of prepare in a way for the inevitable that we all face, but in my case, probably a lot sooner. And so it's kind of good to have that going for me, because I'm old enough that in the last 10, 15 years, I've seen a lot of people in my parents' generation die, including my parents. And I've been surprised by how many of them just weren't at all prepared for that. They just, these are people in their 80s, and they're just shocked to learn that they're not going to be around much longer. So I've literally been living now for 5 years with 1 foot in the grave. So I think I'm kind of ready. So that's the bright spot. But overall, on a day-to-day basis, it's kind of it's just sort of not too much fun. I mean, I have fun, but just overall, it's a nuisance. So if I were going to sum it up, I would have to say that I miss having 2 legs this much. Thank you.